Well, it's got to be so weird though, being like your average person seeing you on their phone on Instagram or on TikTok and seeing the fights and seeing the celebrations and hyping up the crowd and all that fun stuff, and then to see you in person is like, whoa, like. And I think like the big celebrities are different. Like they're not really relatable like the Logan Pauls, the Kim Kardashians, but to see your average guy who's playing minor pro hockey doing some big things on the internet and social media, and to see him in person, it's like, oh my God, like that's the guy.
He's a real person.
That's the new starstruck.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like you get to see a lot of young kids and stuff when they first recognize you and they come up and they want to get a picture and stuff, and it feels good. It's fun, man. It's like, I remember being on that end of things, and I'm sure you do too, and I'm sure you get it all the time too, where people see you and they're like, oh, there he is, that's Trav. It's a good feeling. It feels good. You work hard. Like you work hard to build this platform, to build this. We've marketed ourselves and stuff, and it's that's kind of the reward. It's kind of nice, and to be honest, at times I could only imagine being like a big time star. Like you wouldn't be able to go anywhere. It'd be pretty crazy, but you got to be grateful for it because it's you put all this work in, and that's kind of like the reward.
What was the quote from Spider-Man? With great power comes great responsibility. And as you're growing your stuff and you're helping these kids and you're inspiring them and you're giving them something to really smile about, you also get the dickheads of the world that are living in their mom's basement using their Wi-Fi from their mother to shit talk you in the comment section, and you got to deal with the good and the bad.
How impossible is it to like avoid looking at those comments? Like, do you ever just like, for whatever reason, just dig for them?
Like, do I look for them specifically?
Yeah, like
No.
Do you ever just scroll through, like knowing you're gonna run into them?
So I've had an interesting relationship with that because I've been doing this for a while, right? Like I remember I first started putting my face, my voice in videos probably in like 2017, no, maybe like 2016, 2017. And as time has gone on, obviously the following and the likability and then the hate also kind of goes with it, right? If 3% of the audience hates you and you have 50,000 followers versus 500, that 3% is a whole lot bigger. Instead of this one guy with user 303, there's like 300 of them, right? But at first I would get into the comments with everybody. And if anybody had anything negative to say, I'd clap back. I'd search them up on Facebook, right? Like, this guy's a delivery driver at Domino's Pizza, and this guy's talking shit to me. Like, what a nerd.
Yeah.
But then after a while, there becomes so many of them. If you spend your entire time putting out fires, you're just going to be a firefighter. And then it got to the point, too, like my mom, like, she's my biggest fan. Like, she loves me so much. And she would get into the weeds with people in the comment section, clap back. And I just called her one day. I'm like, listen,
Stop.
Mom, I love you. It's not worth your time. I'm gonna make sure that you can't comment. So I've restricted her so she can't comment on my stuff anymore. Because every now and then I would see a comment in there, I'd be like, okay.
She can't help it.
Yeah, she loves me, right?
It's her mother, yeah,
of course.
Yeah,
right?
I understand that.
But as time's gone on, though, I've tried to compartmentalize it into people are going to tell you you're better than you are. They're also going to tell you you're worse than you are. The truth is usually somewhere in the middle. And one thing that I've really picked up from Matt, like Matt Murray, is like curate your reality very carefully, because you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And even if it's interacting with some dickhead on Instagram for 3 replies a day, you're affiliating with that. And you don't want that to curate your reality, because if you have the free time to go on the internet and talk shit to me or talk shit to you or to, I know we were talking before we started recording, but if you're going to find a picture of some dude's kids before the game on Saturday night to blow it up on a poster on a cardboard cutout and put it behind the glass, you're a lowlife. You got nothing going on in your life. And I don't want to affiliate with that or have you influence my reality, because you're a direct reflection of how you think, and your thoughts are going to lead to the results that you have in your life. And I don't want to be like you. So I'm going to totally disregard it. And it's difficult sometimes because that emotional involvement and that ego sometimes does get the better of me, where I'm like, there's a little bit of truth in that comment.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
that like 2% truth,
Yeah.
98% falsities, if you want to call it that. But like, how do you deal with it?
Yeah, I'm pretty good now. Like at first it would bother me more, but like as it comes more and more, like once you start to realize it correlates with your growth, and you start to realize that the bigger your page get or the more views you get on something, the more of that you're gonna get. So it's like almost now when I see it, I almost know I'm doing something right. I'm like almost like, okay, this is a good video. If I got a bunch of people in there chirping me, that means it's a good video. Because obviously, like you said, you get those bigger numbers, all of a sudden you get a bigger number of haters. In general, it all correlates. Yeah, I do pretty good at avoiding it. I don't really look, but every once in a while I'll just be scrolling through and I'll catch one. And like you said, you read it and you're like, it's hard not to let it get you. We're like, am I that? Like, am I that? But yeah, no, I'm pretty good at handling it. It's a part of it. I could only imagine, like I said, I've said it a million times, I could only imagine being like a Joe Rogan or somebody where it's like just an infinite amount of haters, obviously an infinite amount of, of followers that love them and stuff, but you're going to have the other end of it would just be crazy.
But the beauty of that, though, with the Joe Rogans compared to us, is with the Joe Rogan, I don't know about you, there's no way I'm ever going to get, a piece of communication from Joe Rogan, like sending an email or text, unless I got up to that echelon, which obviously I'm not. But for you and I, if you're some kid, let's say in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, watching Diamond Hands' videos, or you're in Halifax, Nova Scotia, watching my videos of training, you're one Instagram message away from connecting and likely getting a response back and having that barrier between you and your phone screen connected through a message and that personal touch, which I'm sure you experience a lot. Like Matt and I were talking about this the other day. Is like you'll meet people and they'll tell you your life story, like they know you personally, even though you've never met them.
Yeah.
Which is such an interesting dynamic. But I always try to take the angle of they know my life story, which is interesting. But if I get to know theirs, it kind of balances the playing field a bit more. So like to ask questions like, oh, where do you play? What are you doing? Like, how old are you? Like, tell me a little bit more about you. And it fosters a really good relationship. And I think also like the loyalty in your audience, because you have the ability to influence that the way that a Kim Kardashian and a Joe Rogan never will. Like because they're not relatable.
Just being able to communicate and stuff. Like I try and respond to as many people as I can. Obviously, there's sometimes it's like you can't get to everyone, obviously. But every once in a while, I'll go back into my message requests and I'll start digging and I'll start finding stuff. And it's crazy.
Kansas City Mavericks head coach in my messages.
Yeah.
The hidden requests.
Sometimes you'll come across stuff and you're like, whoa, how did I miss it? It might even be an old friend or somebody that I went to school with or whatever. And I've had that stuff happen. It's super cool. But
You think you're one of the most hated men in hockey?
yeah, I got to be number 2 behind you, I think. I'd say number 2.
I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult, but I'll take it.
I think it's a compliment. We just said it correlates with our growth and stuff like that. So, yeah, man, I think when I really think about it, I'm like, I'm definitely hated, 100%. I know that for a fact. But I was like, am I hated more than Trav? I don't know. I think Trav's got to be, I got to be a close second, though. I'm tailing you.
I find that so interesting because I'm just a dude who's being myself. Like I'm training, I'm posting videos, making saves and practices, or working hard, or just talking about like, hey, like listen, if you want to get something done that's unique, you got to do something unique.
Yeah.
And I have a goal just like yours. Maybe you want to be an electrician, you want to be a plumber, you want to be a tradesman, an entrepreneur. I want to be an elite goaltender at the minor pro level. We all have goals. I'm sticking to it, and you should too. It's a universal truth. But for whatever reason, people get so enraged by that. I don't know if it's a reflection back of I'm sticking with something that maybe like they quit, or like it shows a reflection back that makes them angry. But I thought for sure, like when you started popping up, I'm like, oh, this guy's going to take my spot for being the most hated. Because like, you're pissing people off. You're like, you're a loser. I'm going to jump you. I hate you. You should go back to the UK, which, we can get into that a little bit later. I'm just a dude who's just training.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like, I feel like if anybody deserves it, it would be me more. I feel like I should be definitely the most hated man in hockey. Like, I'm really going out there and asking for it, obviously, in a way, the way I play and stuff like that. It's great. If you're a fan of the team that I'm on, or if you're a fan of me, then you're probably, you love it. But, it's like everybody knows that guys like me, you love to have them on your team, hate to play against them. It's a classic saying, right? So, yeah, I think I probably deserve the title.
Hey, if you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button. We do a new podcast every single Sunday during the season called Sling the Biscuit. It is a non-mainstream hockey podcast, so we talk about my hockey career, the minor pros, Spain, the Fed, you name it, all the stuff that you won't hear in the mainstream news.
Music,
Pop culture.
politics.
Thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you soon. Peace.